Hello. 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 We're gonna make another video. Right after I finish vomiting. Look, I'm making a thing. Am I gonna make a video about it? I guess you know the answer to that, and I don't yet. But it seems likely if you're watching this. Also, am I really making this? Or is the machine making this? I might be claiming too much credit here. Here in Minnesota, we get a lot of snow. Piled here on our deck, and, all of the outdoors. It's hard to get a sense of how much snow there is on camera, but here's a banana for scale. The problem with all this snow is that I have kids, and my kids go in the snow. I guess it's like fun or something. And they come in all covered in snow, and all their stuff is all wet, because snow is actually made out of water. And that's a problem, because they stay wet, unless I dry them out. For the most part, everything dries out fine, just hanging up. But the gloves never dry. They will stay wet for weeks at a time if I don't dry them. And I can put them in the dryer, but that just seems incredibly wasteful. Because it still takes like a full hour for them to dry. And we don't have enough other laundry to bother drying things for an hour every single day. Or even twice a day if they go out twice in a day. So we're putting a stop to that. Yeah. Ding dang. Fortunately, there's a vent right by our front door, which is right where we want to put all the wet stuff anyways. And it blows hot, dry air out of it several times a day, maybe more. So my plan is to make something to make the gloves stay on here, because kind of balancing them sort of works, but mostly they just fall off. And then I get yelled at by tiny humans when their gloves are wet. Let's check how that print's going. Oh good, it's done. All I need to do now is wait for these two brackets to finish printing. Oh look, they're done. Alright, time to install this thing. Yep, this will be interesting. I'm really concerned that it has to be way too precise for everything to actually fit. And I feel like it's going to cause all kinds of headaches. And I feel like there's a good chance that this is going to not work the first time I try it. And then I'm going to have to take it all off and mount it to a board or something to put it on here. But we'll give it a try. This wall has a stupid texture on it. So depending on where a bracket lands, it might end up on a bump that makes it tip way to one side or the other. We'll see what happens. Also, it'll probably help if I put them right side up. So, knowing how hard it was going to be to get everything lined up, I made a little template to help line everything up on the wall. So hopefully that will make this much easier to get them at a minimum the right distance apart and square to each other. So my plan is to pilot the hole, or I guess I'm not really piloting it, is to mark the hole with a drill bit. It's like the same size as the screw hole. So in theory, it has to be centered. I'm gonna vacuum up this drywall dust before the furnace kicks on and blows a cloud of dust in my face. I will put some real anchors in here at some point. I just want to make sure it actually fits first before I bother making it really permanently attached. Actually, this drywall is pretty thick. It's possible it'll be fine without anchors, but most likely what will happen if I do that is then a kid's gonna kick it and it's all over. Now I should be able to at least see if this is gonna be within the vicinity of working. It's a definite maybe. Absolutely, probably. Here's a trick I use sometimes to not make a huge mess doing stuff in drywall. Let's put a piece of tape underneath the spot that I'm drilling. Then it all falls in the tape. And it looks like there's part of a vent back here. I don't know why the vent goes up that high. That's definitely hitting the vent now. Maybe I can just not put the screw in all the way. There's still a chance this won't work at all, so let's try out the temporary solution first. I feel like that has a lot of potential. That might actually work. Sweet. Let's do it again. And this spot's super lumpy. I think I'm gonna have to do something about that. This might get kind of technical, but try to keep up. I have a problem. So I'm just gonna hit it with a hammer and hope it goes away. Let's see if we win. It's better. I should really find a flat tool to make the wall flat. Well, I tried using the closest tool for the job. That didn't work, so I guess I'll have to use the right tool for the job. Progress, yes. Solved, not even close. Yup. Exactly what I was afraid of. The bumps on the wall make it go up crooked a little bit. So the alignment is off, so it doesn't actually go where it's supposed to be. Cool. Well, let's not be deterred by a little thing like it not working. Onward. Time for the great camera shift. Well, that one's nice and sturdy, and looks nice and straight. So it's just this wonky one. So I guess I'll be taking that one off and trying to flatten out the wall more. Or maybe I can shim it so it goes straight. Other than the fact that it doesn't work. Ta-da! Wait, no. Ta-da! Also ta-da! Ta-da! Hi! I know it's only been a few seconds in the video, but it's been a few months in real life, and I'm just getting back to this now. Even if in its not completely finished state, it's been working really well, which is awesome. There was a problem getting everything to fit right, trying to get everything to locate onto these little pins. It works great for the two on this side, but this last one was funky because the wall was crooked. So it just doesn't quite line up right. But I discovered it doesn't need all the pins to hold it in place. Jerkader. Yeah. It originally had 4 holes because I was going to use screws, but then once I decided that if it has screws, someone's just going to kick it and knock everything off the wall and destroy it all. It's like, it should be able to separate gracefully. So it just has pins. And it doesn't need 4 pins to hold it in place. They're just to keep it from sliding off. So, long story short, it works, and I didn't have to do anything. I still haven't glued the pins in yet, which means they sometimes catch and fall out, but I'll do that later. I'm gonna glue the pins in, because that's the kind of riveting filmmaking we're here to make today. Could turn this into a how-to guide. First, put glue on a thing. Then, put the thing where you want it to be. The glue will make the thing stay in the place where you put it. At least that's the theory. I promise nothing. Helpful advice: don't glue yourself to the thing. Then you might have a bad time. For real though, super glue works really well on 3D printed PLA. Those chemicals like to bond. Wanna watch glue dry? You know you do. I'll come back later. You can enjoy that. In a perfect world, everything I tried to engineer would just work the first time. But, that has probably never happened, so here's some failures along the way. And by failures, I of course mean iterations, because there's no such thing as failing, unless you stop trying. My first idea was just to make a little ventilated shelf thing, which would kind of work okay, but it didn't solve the problem of trying to get the mittens to stay up straight. So my second idea, I was still working on the idea of screwing these in, just to make a cone to put them on, which totally worked to hold them up. But what it didn't do very well was actually allow any air to get inside the glove. So yeah, they didn't really dry out all that well. It was better, but it didn't solve the problem, because it took more than a day for them to dry out still. Then I just went bigger, and this ended up being pretty close to the final idea. The only thing I changed was, in the final one, I made it a little tiny bit taller and a little tapered on the end. Because otherwise, it was really hard to get the gloves on without the taper. And then I switched to using the pins, so they're easy to take off, which ended up being a win for a totally different reason. Because I was thinking I just didn't want them to snap the brackets off the wall when somebody went like that. But it's really handy to be able to take them off and put it wherever you want. Put gloves on it, where it's convenient to reach instead of bending over in the corner. And then you just throw them on there. And it's great. And everything's perfect. And the problem is solved. Hooray! Let's see if I can do an outro all in one take on the first try. Of course, you'll never know if I actually did it in one try, because through the power of editing, I can lie to you. Cool. Let's see here. I hope you enjoyed whatever you just watched. If you didn't enjoy it, maybe you shouldn't have spent so much time watching it. Maybe reevaluate some of your life choices. If you did enjoy it, thanks. You're welcome? I've now made 2 videos, which is roughly double the number of times that I do anything before I get tired of doing it. So I feel like there's a decent chance that maybe this will be a thing and I'll keep making more. It certainly gives me a little motivation to finish things that I've been wanting to work on anyways, so we'll see what happens. Okay, bye. 1, 2, 3. Hooray!